Welcome back. You're watching The Fix. I'm in conversation with the SACP's Anthony Dietrich and drug policy specialist Sean Shelley. Sean, you know, we were talking about the fact that already international bodies such as the United Nations have advocated for the decriminalization of the drug trade. And of course, criminals are the ones that stand to lose the most. And police that are specifically dealing with this, who are on the take, have as vested a reason to not want it decriminalized because they are, of course, living off the largesse of these criminals. If you look at what's happening in other parts of the world, what is it that we can learn so that we can beat back corruption in our system and perhaps agitate and campaign for a different policy around how to deal with the scourge of drugs and addiction?
So the obvious example would be Portugal, where they've decriminalized drugs for personal use. And there they've seen massive improvements in things like the health of people. They've seen drops in levels of crime, and they've seen basically the criminal justice system freed up. And if we look at the UK, where we've got not a particularly good example, what we're seeing is that when the police are clamping down on drug trade, what they're actually doing is working for the other rival drug gangs, whether they like it or not. So if you take one person out, somebody else will come in and fill their place and take advantage of the price differential. And also, the other thing is that the informants are usually informants informing on their rivals.
Yes.
And therefore, you know, they're using the police as part of their manpower. And that's unacceptable. And then when you've got constables and other people who are stopping and arresting people all the time just to meet quotas, and they're earning very little, and that person's out again the next day, what happens is eventually they lose all sorts of hope. The community loses hope in the police from doing anything about it, and money starts to change hands.
Absolutely. Now, talking about money changing hands, Anthony, I mean, you had the killing of your member in Siabulela in Mfuleni, but this is not the only SACP activists that have been killed. We've had people killed in KwaZulu-Natal, we've had people killed in Mpumalanga, and if you track the killings of SACP members, you can also track the killings of senior police officers in those communities that are tracking corruption and particularly corrupt cops. As the SACP, would you support the decriminalization of drugs? And do you see this as a necessary policy change to beat back, you know, the power of organized crime and the ability to obviously corrupt our criminal justice system?
Well, certainly, Karima. I mean, the point is, however, we have a pandemic relating to transnational criminal syndicates that have its foothold within the South African economy. It is quite evident from where we are sitting that unless there is a dedicated and integrated, coordinated approach in dealing with this illicit economy within the South African context, we are not going to be able to deal with this problem holistically. We are dealing at the moment and are confronted with the reproduction of these things within our local communities, as if that is the primary problem. That is just a systemic problem of a bigger problem that we are sitting with in this economy. The criminal related industry, as well as the increase in corruption in our economy, there must be a symbiosis between these kind of illicit activities that are taking place within our economy. So therefore, there's an important need, both a policy shift that requires changes, but there is also a need for a national focus and approach. Most of our members that have been affected and been assassinated in many other parts, including in our province, were front runners of tackling the corruption at the local level. And these comrades have laid their lives on the altar of these criminal syndicates. And unless we're dealing with this thing holistically at the national level, and bringing all the different agencies together, we are not going to overcome this kind of problem.
All right, thank you so very much. We've run out of time. This is a conversation that we will have, again, a very necessary conversation. We need to push back organised crime and the grip that they have on the criminal justice system. And maybe the answer lies in a change of policy and decriminalising that illicit drug trade. Well, you've had your fix for the week. Join me again next Sunday. Thank you so much for watching.